Hi, good morning, and you're welcome. We are here at Cape Town, South Africa for the Formula E at the invitation of Nissan. And it's been a great weekend and a lot of activities. And at the center of Formula E is mobility, or e-mobility, electrification, as we move towards sustainable motoring. We know that our cars or vehicles contribute a lot to pollution, and we want to cut down on that so that we can preserve the planet for our children unborn. So I have with me here Valarie. Valarie is, should I say, an e-mobility evangelist.
I like that.
Yes, so Valarie will tell us a bit about herself and what she does. Valarie, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Really excited to be here. I think the race this weekend is a momentous one for those of us who believe in e-mobility in Africa. So I'm Valarie Larbi. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Wahu Mobility. And we are an electric vehicle manufacturing company in Ghana, in Accra. And we design, we locally manufacture, and we distribute electric vehicles. Our very first product is an e-bike. And we are in the process of also designing our first made in Ghana electric car.
All right, made in Ghana electric car. Did you hear that? How did you get all this started? You know, business in Ghana is not an easy thing. How did you get started? Tell us a bit about your background.
Yeah, so I'm an economist by trade, but then I did my master's in Cambridge in sustainability leadership. So I'm someone who's always believed in business having a social impact, but also looking at how we're interfacing with our environment. I think with the recent smog we've seen in Accra, we can see that environment is not something that we can ignore. And so I actually lived in the northern part of Ghana, in Tamale, for 5 years. And during that time, I spent a lot of my personal time engaging with entrepreneurs, people in the communities, understanding pain points. And one of the biggest pain points was transport, the cost of transport, the reliability of transport, and then access to transport. And so myself and one of my co-founders, Quincy Ajapong, he's an aerospace engineer, Ghanaian aerospace engineer. And we came together by initially just starting doing conversions of second-hand bicycles.
Wow.
So we were converting them to be electric so that they could go further. And we know how expensive petrol is. I think a year ago, 1 litre of petrol was 5 Ghana cedis. Now it's like 15 Ghana cedis.
Exactly.
So it's a big issue now. So we wanted a vehicle that didn't need petrol. We wanted a vehicle that's easy to ride and could still go far. So our electric bikes come with 2 batteries that you can charge at home, and they can go around 160 kilometers for a whole day's worth of riding.
Okay. A lot of times when you talk about e-mobility or electric mobility or electric cars, electric bicycles, people think about complexity. Are the vehicles complicated?
Very easy to ride. They're very easy to maintain, because the good thing about electric vehicles is there isn't a lot of components. So there's less things that could go wrong.
Wonderful.
And then they're more affordable. Maybe sometimes you see the upfront cost maybe a little bit higher, but in terms of running costs, just to give some context, if you were doing delivery on a petrol-based bike, you're spending around 1,500 cedis a month on petrol. With our e-bike, you're spending 8 Ghana cedis a week on charging. So it's a huge opportunity for us to go green and save money at the same time.
At the same time, wonderful. Great. What are some of the hurdles that so far you've encountered, and how do you intend to surmount them?
Yeah. I would say the first thing, manufacturing in Ghana hasn't been easy, but I think the Africa Free Trade Agreement presents a big opportunity for us to source materials that we could use in our factory from across the continent. I think the second thing has been finding young, competent engineers and experienced engineers who want to apply their acumen in Ghana. Normally when you meet people who have automotive or aerospace engineering experience, they want to go abroad because that's where the industry is. So I would say that we are positioning ourselves as a center of excellence for Ghanaian engineering, so that people who have the skill and the aspiration to be leaders in this industry can be in Ghana, stay in Ghana and contribute to this movement. And I think lastly has been obviously the depreciation of the city has made business in general for a lot of people difficult. So we've had to innovate in how we can make our vehicles affordable. And one of the ways we've done that is we allow people to pay a weekly subscription to access the bikes. And if they don't have enough money, they can also balance the payment of the vehicle through fulfilling deliveries.
So, I mean, I visited your website and I did a bit of calculation, and I think that it makes a lot of sense. Subscription models. A lot of times, subscription models are a bit scary, but I looked at it, did the math, and realized that it's a good deal. But at the heart of the conversation on electric vehicles are the batteries. Because anytime you talk about the higher cost of electric vehicles, it comes down to the cost of the batteries, and which translates to the raw materials. I mean, in Ghana, I've heard that we have a bit of, we have some quantities of lithium, which is one of the main components of battery manufacture. I read this week that Chile, for example, they are putting a sort of moratorium on mining of lithium. They are one of the biggest, they have one of the biggest deposits so far. And they are telling the electric car manufacturers that if you want our lithium, you have to come and set up here. And I think there's another African country who Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe, they're also following suit. What do you think about that conversation?
So I think we as a country need to understand the potential size of our lithium deposits as a starting point. But I think it's also important that as we move into a new age of transport around e-mobility, we also focus around how the distribution of income can also support emerging economies. So I think it's important that the countries that do have lithium also look at how they leverage that to enter this manufacturing space. We can't trade how we've always traded. I think what's going to be important is in those countries that have lithium, how are they going to get quality in their produce? And so there's going to have to be kind of local and international collaborations to actually make batteries affordable. I think at the end of all of this, for me, it's around getting good quality batteries at a good price that could be distributed globally.
Wonderful. All right, wonderful. I've enjoyed the conversation greatly, and I think that this is eye-opening. And all you out there, just go check Wahu Mobility out, and let's see how we can get into these electric motorcycles and vehicles, and we can move her business forward and at the same time bring more value to whatever we do. Thank you for listening to this conversation. Thank you.